Welcome back. My SD card died for the most important video out of all the videos, and that was the engine going in. Without being too boring, I'll try and give you a quick rundown of what happened, what we did, and where we're at now and what else I have left to do. I have a lot left to do, so maybe we won't go over that. We'll just do videos on it instead, because those were going to be here for a long time. Anyway, sun's going down again, so the light, I'll try not to film into it, but basically the engine's in the car. I think some of the videos left on the SD card, if I can get it back, I'll put it right in about now.
Get rid of it quicker.
You reckon that pie, you reckon the contents of that pie was thick, mate?
Oh, that takes me back to college.
Right.
Man. What was he saying? Oh, chaps. Breathe deep.
Engine discussions and things. Anyway, got that on camera for you. South African pooey boy. We are putting the clutch on the engine. As you can see, I'm not doing it because Dad knows what he's doing and I don't. Dad pretends to know what he's doing. I don't. I've put the headers on. Put the headers on. Put the conversion mounts on. Yeah, so we're going to try and get that in there. Hopefully. So yeah, it went in pretty well. I used, can't remember the name of the brand, I think it's Killcat or something, but LC Engineering in the US does a lot of these conversions, and they supply the engine conversion mounts. So that is the engine conversion mount there. This engine sits 30mm back, so they sit 30mm forward on the engine to mount the engine backwards. Probably sit better this side actually, so that's it there. I had to trim off the actual oil feed, but that's pretty strong anyway. Oil feed, dipstick, it's pretty strong anyway, so it should be alright there on its own. So they all bolted up perfectly. The engine naturally wants to sit on a 5-degree tilt towards the driver's side. I have the intake off, so you can't really see. The intake sits flat and the engine sits on an angle, which then also at the bottom makes the sump sit flat. It's very weird. Anyway, so slight tilt, and then to get this out of the way, these are the conversion headers they use and send out. So that is a conversion header for 3RZ into older Hiluxes and 4Runners, Gen 1, Gen 2 sort of 4Runners and Hiluxes. I had to just slightly bend the hard lines out of the way, which is fine. But to get the headers on once the engine was in, I had to actually take the steering, all of this off, as Americans have steering on the opposite side of the car obviously, so yeah, a little bit of cursing, but it's in and it's all tightened up and ready to rock, so I should be fine. I'm going to make a little heat shield as well. So the heat shield, I've got some just sort of mesh heat shield stuff. So this is the intake which I'm going to get one of my mates, Darcy, to make a new intake for it, and I'll have to go right round and over there, unfortunately. But this is where it bolts onto, but I'm going to make a little bolt-on shield that goes over the headers. Nothing crazy, nothing big, probably bolted on there and there as well, across 3 bolts. Just keep the heat away from the brake lines. It's far enough away anyway, but it'll just be, while it's there, just a little one. We'll keep a little bit of heat away, which will be nice. And then I need to make another one that goes down there that folds up over these, which would be pretty tight. I do have the stock one here. So that's the stock one. It doesn't work at all because the headers are in the way, but that's cool. I'll make one. I'm going to go to the wreckers probably tomorrow afternoon. A few things I need to get. I'm going to get a standard accelerator cable from the 3RZ, basically any Hilux that has a 2.7 in it, and see if that fits. If not, I'll rig something up. I kind of got an idea if that doesn't work, so it'll be cheap enough I can buy one, it doesn't matter. And then I think this is it. Yeah, that's the vac line to the brake booster. So from factory they have that line here runs up across here in a hard line and then pops down into here. I'll be putting it on the stock brake booster for now because I'm going to put in a upgraded brake booster from a Prado when I do a disc brake conversion in the rear, so it'll all be the same placement, but it'll work fine. Another weird thing they have, well, I'm not actually sure it's weird because I've never really dealt with these as far as pulling them apart and putting them back together again. I have had one before, but I've never had to do anything like this on it. Get that out of the way. These 2 lines here run to a valve that goes around there on the actual banjo fitting, and they are an idle up control for when you turn the steering, so the car doesn't stall out, so the car will idle up when it steers. And then this here is a return line. I'd unfortunately had to cut the old one off because it'd been there so long, but it is the correct length. So I'm going to get another one of these made, and then this one here I'm going to take off down here, and then I'm going to go to the wreckers and get this fitting here, and then I can cut it short and get somewhere like Pertec or something to press an end on that goes to here onto the hose that came with this. That was a little confusing, but I'll do a video on that. So yeah, that will make the power steering work, so that's another box ticked. And then the radiator actually fits, so the radiator bolts in no problems. This is the factory clutch fan from a 3RZ. This line obviously fits. This is my sender to my gauge, which, to be honest, I probably don't need because I'm going to possibly use a scanner heads up for it, but it'd be good to have a mechanical gauge anyway, just to double check, especially for beach driving and stuff like that. Keep an eye on it. Yeah, radiator. So I had to trim a little bit of the factory fan shroud from the 2L, and it fits. So factory fan shroud is ideal, and running a factory clutch fan is ideal. It just runs a little bit better, a little bit cooler. I could go an electric fan, but it looks nice. It'd be nice and simple, factory-ish. That is at the radiator shop, because it's a copper radiator, which will be more than enough to keep the 3RZ cool. A lot of the smaller radiators that come with the 22R and 22RE aren't up to the task. A copper radiator is a far better option, heaps higher quality and stays cooler for longer. So I'm getting it'll be basically a pipe that comes up here, and I'm going to run a 90 off there to there. providing the guy at the radiator shop listened to my measurements, it'll all fit. We'll see. Yeah, so engine in wise, that's probably about it. It went in really easy, everything lined up, everything was good. Clutch is in. I used the 3RZ Slave, and then I took out, can't remember. Yeah, I took out like a little bracket and then slightly bent the like hard line, and it bolts straight up. So no messing around, bolted straight up, easy as. Obviously it's got to bleed it and then it's good to go. Once I get all the mechanical side of it done, it'll be wired. The last big thing I've got to try and do is get the diesel tank converted to a petrol tank. So what I'm going to do is get the basically the assembly out of the top of a standard Hilux 3RZ tank, and I'm going to drop my tank, obviously drain the diesel out of it, and then I'll take it to probably Danny T. Guys in the drift scene that probably watch my videos know who he is. The dude's a genius. He's very good, so he'll be able to probably fit something up, make something up, hopefully. And then I want to keep it, the tank as standard and as best fitting as possible, but I want to keep a factory 3RZ set up as where I can. So that'll be interesting, but that's my main plan. I don't think the tanks are the same. Some people say they are, some people say they don't. I don't know. So I'll probably have a peek around at the wrecker and I'll keep you updated on what I do with that. I could run, it's a bit confusing, but I could run the standard pickup that's in there, because the old motor had a mechanical pickup which would suck the diesel out from just a tube that goes down through the filter and into the engine. I could put an electric inline on it, but I want to try and have all the right venting and everything else for the petrol. So I'd rather do it once, do it right, not have random vents and stuff venting basically straight petrol fumes underneath my car or letting mud and water in. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so that's a rough update. That's where we're at. Yeah, so far so good. It looks a little bit ugly now, but I'd imagine the wiring dude's going to get rid of most of that and most of this. I've also taken the compressor for the front locker off the firewall. I don't know why it was there. It was ugly as sin. Anyway, so once that's all cleaned up, I want to try and put it in here somewhere and probably reorganize this, which is the dual battery system. Neaten it all up, put it all on one side, or it could probably even get extended over and put on this side somewhere. There's going to be a lot of room there because that's where the old power steering pump was. So power steering pump was here, well, reservoir, and then the pump was run mechanically off the engine, where this is attached to the engine with a belt. And then yeah, so there's plenty of room there. If the wiring guy comes and he wants to rewire that while he's at it, I'll probably move it to there. Yeah, so still a fair bit more to be done, but big progress. Yeah, we'll see you next time. Take it easy and yeah, keep them projects going.